Okay, welcome to my writing room. This is where I write. This is where I do a lot of thinking, a lot of working. Tonight, though, I want to talk to you about my new passion, which is true crime. I've been reading true crime all my life, and I've been writing it for a couple of years, and I'm really excited about a new book of mine. I've got the Vegas book coming out the 28th that talks about crimes in Las Vegas. Man, there's plenty of them. And then I've just got the Hollywood book done, and there's a lot of fascinating crimes in that too. A lot of low lives, because who else commits crimes but low lives? One of the people that really made me think, and somehow this person's whole demeanor, I guess, or whatever you want to say, has just stuck with me. I'm wondering, what a stupid, stupid man, a pitiful man. His name was Arthur Eggers, and before I go any further, his dad was a police chief in San Francisco at one time. But let's look at Arthur Eggers in 1945. He's married to a younger woman by the name of Dorothy, and she was his second wife, but he was smart. His first wife was also called Dorothy. So if he made a mistake, Dorothy, she wouldn't be the wiser. Maybe he's talking about the first wife or her, but it's good to have the same names, I guess, for a stupid person like Arthur. Well, Arthur was a deputy at Temple City. And in those days, in 1945, that it was a very small town. Okay, Arthur got off at 1 o'clock in the morning, December 1945. He went home and he sees a man, a stranger, walking out the front door of his house. He wonders what the hell's up. He runs to his house, gets in there, goes to his bedroom, and there's Dorothy, naked as can be. And he says, "What the hell's going on? Are you carrying on an affair?" She says, "Yes, I'm having an affair." What are you going to do about it? Now, I'm going to stop right here and say this isn't the first time. According to those who knew Dorothy and knew Arthur, Dorothy often liked to hitchhike with truckers, stupid on her part, and men, and go out and dance and party and come home and brag to Arthur. Tonight he wasn't having any of it. He was furious. He went to the drawer of Chester drawers, opened, pulls out his gun. "I'm gonna go shoot that man's what I'm gonna do." Well, Dorothy didn't want to see her lover dead, so she starts fighting with Arthur for the gun. Unfortunately, according to Arthur, she ended up dead. Okay. Well, rather than call the cops and say, "Hey, here's a problem," he didn't do that. He decapitated her and cut her hands off. I'm thinking he probably thought that she wouldn't be able to be identified this way. He took the headless body, the headless and handless body, out into the hills, wrapped it up in a blanket, and tossed it away, and went home and filed a missing persons report. Hikers found the body, and eventually they turned to Arthur, who finally confessed. Okay, so they asked the logical question, "Where's the head?" He said, "I can't remember where the head is." "Where are the hands?" "I don't know. Maybe I burned them." He didn't know, and to this day, they've never turned up. But an unusual thing about this is, how many times have you seen a picture of the murderer standing over his victim's body at the morgue? Well, there is such a picture of Arthur standing over the headless body of Dorothy, and I thought this is pretty fascinating. Sadly for Arthur, but not for justice, he was executed in San Quentin, 1947. Now, another crime, if you let me have a drink here first. Before I go any further, on a second thought, do you know the house that Arthur killed Dorothy in is still standing on Rosemead Boulevard in Temple City? And you know what? It's a dental office. If I lived in Temple City, I'd go to the dentist for any reason, tooth cleaning, drilling, whatever, so I could be in there and see if Dorothy's still hanging around somewhere. Okay, today's September 21st. 5 years ago tonight, the paranormal was about set to be shocked to its core. And that's because Mark and Debbie Constantino. About this time, Mark was getting ready to go over to the house where Debbie was staying. We do know when he got there that he shot and killed the man who was, who you want to say, her roommate, maybe her landlord, maybe I said a nice guy who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think, but I don't know. The only people who know are all dead. But I think that James, the man who was murdered by Mark, I think he probably tried to stop Mark from pulling Debbie out of there. I think Mark went in there, was trying to take Debbie with him. And I think that Mark shot and killed him for this reason. We do know that Mark forced Debbie to drive to one of their daughter's apartments, and there he held her hostage from 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, until police broke in around 1 and found them both dead. And I thought about this so many times. When it first happened, a friend said, "Oh my gosh, can you imagine the terror that was going through Debbie's mind? Can you imagine the fear?" I'm going to be honest with you. Debbie was a fearless woman. I'll be willing to bet, though we don't know and we'll never know, that she chastised Mark up till the bitter end. I'll always believe that she possibly said, "Go ahead and shoot, go ahead and shoot." And he did. And it is a tragedy all the way around. There's no denying it. I've tried a few times to get EVP. I tried with Sharon Leong. I've tried here in my writing room. I've not succeeded as yet, but who knows? Maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. I do believe that on the anniversary of something like that, that it's easier. You're closer to it. It's easier to get EVP. And tomorrow, I'll be thinking, as I am tonight, I'll be thinking about Mark and Debbie all day, as you will. And I've had dreams of Debbie and Mark. In my dreams, we're in a line waiting to go in someplace. Mark and I are. And Debbie comes up and starts yelling and screaming at me, but it's weird. She's screaming and yelling, but no sound is coming out of her mouth. I don't know what it means. Maybe you people who know more about dreams than I do could tell me. Obviously, she's mad at me. If you've ever read Demon Song, and I hope you will, because it is the honest truth of how I saw Mark and Debbie. Maybe she's angry at me for writing the book. I don't know. It's a true story, and it's the closest I ever want to get to true crime. That doesn't mean I won't continue to still research and write about it, because I intend to. There's one in Pasadena that's unsolved that I would love to dig into more and write about. A dentist who was murdered, and it was 1937. They haven't caught the person who did it yet, and after all those years, they're probably never going to. But the amazing thing about that is I've read some of his diaries, and they seem like a man who was totally, totally wrapped up in religion. But the police said, "Oh no, his diaries were full of romance and full of women, and he was a Lothario." I didn't get that at all, but maybe I didn't read all of his diaries. Anyway, y'all, that's my little true crime for tonight. Thank you.